they're going through years and they don't talk about war, they don't talk about the past, they don't talk about anything. I have a brother who's much older than I am, who's actually a draft dodger. So for me, when I saw the military, like it was like military equals death. It was like there's this thing about people shooting guns at me that I just was like, this is just frightening. So it was always, you know, it was always unclear like how to communicate to people that are in the armed forces. And I think like one thing that's been great about Stark is that his character is really like, you know, this is about all of us. It's not excluding you. It's like it's not this anti-military thing or you know, it's just the fact that we went into a war, we were misled into a war, and it was bullshit.
You spoke really.
One of the things that I think is like really, I mean, there's a lot of things that are really exciting and unique about this show, but one thing that I'm thrilled about is just that dialogue about the war and about the soldiers, because there's this thing that kind of bothers me, especially on stage in New York City, where it's great to draw parallels to old and previous wars and be like, look how it's so much like right now. But there's this kind of taboo that if you tackle something too current, it's inappropriate or it's off limits. And I've seen a lot of shows in the last few years on Broadway that have done that you know, care, not to discredit any show, but that, you know, you make that parallel between, okay, Vietnam, and then you stack it up against right now. But I have never seen anything on Broadway that tackles anything current like that. And when we started and I realized that it was going to be, with this music, it could not be, you know, as terrifying and real as the Tunny part of the story. And I'm thrilled that it's up here every night.
The last time we were here, Friday night, about the sort of media blitz that partly inspired the CD. I'm wondering, were you at all inspired or outraged by? You know, I mean, I don't know if that's the words in your mouth. I mean, by rock musicians, the rock world, lack of response to current events.
I don't know if I was surprised or not. I remember right after 9/11, there was this big thing that I think Clear Channel was doing, where there were certain songs that you could not play on the radio anymore. So there was this big sort of ban on all, and this was just like a head scratcher to me. It was like, you know, I remember we had a song called Maria that came on International Super Hits, which started that somebody shot the president or something like that, and it was. And I remember, like, right when that record was getting ready to come out, we just recorded it. It was like, we don't, you know, people were saying, I don't think it's a good idea to put out. And so all of a sudden, we were just, our civil liberties were just started getting chopped off, you know. And, you know, I think Rage Against the Machine, everything they ever wrote was banned from it. And, you know, songs like Imagine by John Lennon was being banned from the radio. And it was like, what, you know, what the hell is this? So, you know, I think that there was a few people, the Dixie Chicks. I mean, they look what happened to them. You know, it was 3 Southern women singing country music, and they got fucking crucified. I mean, it was bullshit, but it inspired the shit out of me. So, I don't know. I mean, it was like, you know, it was kind of, I think every time you come to a certain stage in your career where maybe it's like you have to break down a barrier. I mean, it's like, the closest thing I can come to is like say if there's there's like a football player that's running around and he's heading right into a bunch of linebackers that are waiting for him. You don't hesitate because you're going to get your ass smashed. So you have to run right through that fucking wall every single time. So.
Since this is like an American Idiot U and we have students here every night, I wanted to just throw out a question to the whole panel. I want anybody to answer who wants. But who or what in your life has been like a great teacher to you? Either a person or an event or anything.
Michael Mayer.
actually taught a bunch of us who were doing drama that putting on plays could be a spiritual experience, that the theater could be as holy as a church or a synagogue. And that was really important to me because I was brought up, as a complete atheist. And I maintain my atheism